All right. What is up, everybody? We are live today it's Tuesday in Oklahoma. Is it Tuesday in California as well? I'm not really good at time zones.
Yeah, no, it's still Tuesday. It's just a little earlier for you. I think it's
Okay. So it's still Tuesday. All right.
I hope.
That, that's awesome. Yeah. Right. Well, as everybody's starting to join us, Will, why don't we do our traditional thing and talk about dumb stuff like the weather? What is the weather like in Sacramento?
There's actually a break right now. It's cold and it's rainy. It was
Yeah.
raining really hard here about 30 minutes ago. It
Wow.
is dumping, which we need. So, and I love the rain. I love this
I
weather.
do too.
So, I can always wear more clothes when
Yep.
it's 110 here. I can only be so naked before I get arrested. So,
Yes. Thank you for that visual image poking out my mind's eye. I appreciate that very much.
no problem. Just
That's
me in a
right.
warehouse boxing your order, sweating
Oh,
in the buff.
no. And that's our show for today. Thank you very much.
Hey, Lisa,
And
how are you? Welcome.
and I just do this.
Yeah, there you go. I dressed up for this occasion, so I even
Right.
got the new headphones and the microphone that actually works. If
That's great.
Alicia's here or Crystal, last time I was on Crystal's podcast, I had this set up to really give the impression of a professional, and they called me out because it wasn't plugged in. They're like, "Hey, there's not even a cord to your microphone." So um, it is live and it is running. This is actually no AirPods. I'm
Nice.
stepping up the game a little bit.
Nice. That's awesome. What is up, Lisa? Good to have you here. No, we are not going to push the community standards anymore. We apologize. I'll just have to bleep out Will every couple of moments. Uh, Christy Borman, good morning, my friend. Good to see you. Rainy and cold in Washington. Not snow cold, but still cold. Yep, that's great. I am getting ready here in a couple of days. We'll talk about it in a few minutes, but I'm getting ready in a couple of days to jump on an airplane and come to Sacramento to hang out with Will and 50 of our best closest friends there. So that'll be a lot of fun. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Will, in the meantime, what else you got going on? Anything new around Crazy Laser Dad? I'll introduce you officially here in about 2 minutes, but what do you got going around the world headquarters of CLD right now?
Right now it's just I can definitely feel the ramping up of the holiday orders. So people are ordering up. Um, it's just chaos. It's chaos right now. It's amazing. It's amazing to see the repeat customers, seeing our community, the people who are buying in our community, because it's a testament that their business is doing well as well. So
Yeah,
uh, we're in a way like my business is vested in everyone's business here, right? When you guys do well, I do well. So excited to see that. Excited to get through these holidays as well. Added a moderator to my group who's actually here right now, Hannah. Hannah's here, so helping me with some of the group responsibilities of approval posts and tagging me when needed for answers because it is becoming a little bit overwhelming. But
I bet.
you know, uh, slowly putting pieces away to other people. So thank you, Hannah, for your help and welcome.
That's cool. Well, I mean, I will also just echo what Will is saying about as our industries or our businesses grow, we love it because we get to see you guys grow, which is really exciting. We consider everybody friends, and we love to see our friends' businesses grow. That's always exciting. What's up, Susan Roycroft? Good to see you. Hello, Hannah. Glad you're here too.
And Hannah's been bugging me quite a bit. A lot of messages about when are we coming to her neck of the woods. So we got to make it to the east. We got to make it to the upper Midwest.
Yep.
We've kind of gone south with the Tulsa and had lunch with people at Dallas when I was at a football game a couple of weeks ago. Got to meet a couple people for lunch out there, which was amazing. So
That's cool. Well, we got about almost 30 people here with us. Let's get rolling. So we'll just get started by introducing my guest. I can't imagine that any of you don't know who he is, but let's just play like you don't. I got my guest over here. Look at this. I get to point the right direction.
you're getting
My guest
you're
over
becoming a
here is
professional.
yeah, right. My friend Will from crazylaserdad.com. And Will, among other things, he is a great supporter of the whole creator community. He's in just about every group out there. In fact, I know he and I both occasionally get confused as to which groups we're currently in. But he started several years ago with a Glowforge laser and started learning how to do that. And not long after that, he started selling what we call in the industry blanks, things that people can laser on. And over the last, has it been what, about 19 months. I can't count very
Yeah,
well.
right about 19 months, almost 20 months coming up in December.
Nice. Almost 20 months of him doing this. And he is definitely one of the industry leaders in supplying blanks to people. So if you haven't met him yet, you're going to meet him today. And go check out his website at crazylazerdad.com, and you can see all kinds of things that you can laser on. And Will has got a great sense of humor. His website reflects that as well. You've got different sections called pointy things and
Will's Wood.
yeah. Mm-hmm. You definitely want to click on Will's Wood. Yes.
Yes.
It is basically safe for work. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
It's right on that line of HR won't bug you.
Right.
So,
Right.
Just
So
enough.
on a serious note, what kinds of things do you carry there at your website?
So I try to carry almost everything that you can engrave in your laser, right? From cutting boards to pocket knives to wallets to keychains. I think I have about now I was looking at I have about 300 SKUs, so
Wow.
300 different items that you can use to give as gifts to build a business from. I Getting the warehouse this year has allowed me to ramp up my ordering, so I'm able to carry a heavier amount of each item. So if something sells well for you, you can know that you have a reliable source to come back and order it again. I think that's a big challenge for a lot of us is finding repeatable products to continue to provide for our customers. And the worst thing is making something go viral, people love it, and you can't get it again. So
Right.
that's the goal of mine. I went from my living room floor to
Your garage.
a section of the garage to the
Yeah.
3-car garage, and it took about maybe 8 months before I realized, okay, this garage is not big enough for
Right.
me. So looked around, and now for the last 6 months, I've been in the 3,200 square foot warehouse and getting close to bursting at the seams here as well. So looking for bigger and better things each time. So
Right. And one of the things that I appreciate about Will, I know you guys do too, is you're working with who will become a friend pretty quickly because he's interested, he's invested in the community, he's interested in what you're doing, he's interested in helping you get the right product. He continues to make Will, you've got several jigs available on your website, and of course you keep adding more. So he's got more and more resources for you. So if you haven't checked it out, please do. You'll be pleasantly surprised at all the things that are there. It's really great. So before we get started talking to Will, there's an outside chance there may be somebody here who doesn't know who I am. So my name's Mark, and I host this. I try to do this every week. I don't always get to it, but try to have different guests on every week. And you can find what I do at bigbluelaserdesigns.com. I design files for you guys to cut on your laser. And some of these things could actually be engraved on things that Will sells. So it just depends on what you're trying to do. But you can check out what I do there as well. So, Will, you and I talked a little bit yesterday about some things that were kind of getting our attention lately. You and I both do a lot of reading, a lot of podcast listening. We love leadership. We love business, all those kinds of things. And yesterday we were talking kind of a little bit about the journey that a lot of us are on, in that we're always trying to find what our next step is. What's the next thing that we need to do to get bigger, to get better in our industry, whether we're selling lasered items, whether we're selling files like I am, whether we're selling blanks like you are. And a lot of times, I think we talked about this and we agree on this. A lot of times we tend to get distracted by thinking we got to buy a bigger laser or a faster laser or spend more money on this thing or do something new here. And although those are often true, those are things we need to do. You shared a little bit from a podcast you listened to that kind of made us think a little differently on that. Tell us a little bit about the podcast you listened to, and we'll talk through some of the concepts there.
Yeah. So I was listening to a podcast, and something really stuck with me. And they use the analogy of a bucket as your business. And your business there's always going to be some holes in there and the flow of your customers is water. So if you have the flow of customers coming into your bucket, you're trying to capture as much as possible, right? You want to capture as many of your customers as possible. You want them to be loyal customers, lifetime customers. But all these holes in our bucket that are causing our business not to grow is feeding those customers out. So we're not capturing that.
Yeah.
And sometimes to make our business move forward, we have to move back and fill those holes before we try to grab another bucket with more holes. And then it just continues, right? And then it becomes so overwhelming where the holes are getting bigger and bigger and more, um, they're just growing because we're not paying attention to it because we're focused on something new, that it takes so much energy to go back then and fix it, where we could take the time now to
Yeah.
go back, fill those holes, and really make that bucket solid, then go to it. The terms they used was better, more, new. So get better at what you're already doing in your business. Then you'll be able to capture more of those customers. And then when you know you've mastered all of those things in that aspect of your business, then you can go on to something new and use those same principles to get a bucket that will not have the holes.
Yeah. Wow, that's good. That is really good. Better, more, and new. You know, you and I talked a little bit more about that yesterday, about how often when our bucket is leaking, sometimes we don't even realize that the bucket's leaking. We're just not that self-aware. But sometimes we'll try to get I don't know, a bigger bucket, a new, all these different things instead of just fixing the bucket that we have in our hand. And one of the things we talked about was that sometimes, like for me, I know that I sell files, and of course I love when people buy files. It's great. But every now and again, I want to tell somebody, hey, pump the brakes a little bit. Don't buy another file from me yet. I know that's crazy,
Yeah.
but don't buy another file from me yet. Why don't we work on getting a little better photography going? Or why don't we work on a little better, faster response to the customers, that kind of thing? Because sometimes your bucket's leaking and you just pour more, like you were saying, pour more water in the top and it keeps leaking out. And what would be some of the things, if you were thinking of your customers, Will, the people that are buying from you, what are some of the foundational things that you think that they should spend time on to make sure that they have them pretty well set up for their future success? What are some foundational things that they should look at to make sure that they are not holes in their bucket?
I think you mentioned one of them right there is your photos, right?
Yeah.
That's a big one. You want to be able to present the product in a way that creates some emotion in your customer, that they want to buy that, right? That it looks, they can envision that in their home, or they can envision giving that as a gift. If it's sloppy, if you're not cleaning up your product, you're not taking great pictures, they're going to look at it and they're like, I don't know. It might come here great, but looking at your photo, I'm not
Yeah.
convinced. So I don't know if I want to buy that. And they'll just move on to the next person. And there's so many people out there who are selling items now that if yours doesn't stand out and it doesn't have any differentiating difference in the quality of the photos or the product, they'll just move to the next one, right? Our attention
Right.
span is really short, so we're scrolling, right? And if it doesn't look great, we're moving on to the next.
Right.
So photos are a big one. Customer service is a big one.
Okay.
Um,
Talk about that a minute.
I think we're not. I know I hear in the groups, I see people, we want great customer service, but they expect us to be Amazon. We're not Amazon. We're a small business. And I mean, I push back a little on that and say, I'm a small business, right? I'm a one person show here,
Yeah.
but I follow kind of what Amazon does, right? I'm trying to get all my products out as quickly as possible. I'm taking on the customer service. I'm not, when people have problems, I'm not questioning it. I'm just taking care of the people.
Right.
And in the long run, we're all in this. If you're in this for the long game, in the long run, taking care of your customers, even if it's at a little bit of a cost to you, is going to pay off in your business for the long run, for
Right.
sure.
True.
I've seen not, I've seen people say, well, I bought something and it wasn't in the box. And other companies have said, hey, we need proof of this or what. You say you didn't get it. I make my rules for 99%, for the majority, right? And
Yeah.
99.9% of the people who are my customers aren't out to scam me. So I make my rules for them. And if there's people who take advantage of it, they take advantage of it. I can't really change that, but I'm not going to make my rules for the minute exceptions of people who want to scam me and treat everyone as if they're scamming me. So take care of your customers. faster response time, like you said.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, as a consumer, I remember when I used to buy things that people made. If I say I was searching for a cutting board, I might be on Marketplace and I'll send I'm interested in that item to maybe 7 or 8 people. And then the people who respond back to me first and give me the attention that I'm asking, they answer my questions. I don't need to talk to anyone else now.
Yeah.
But, you know, because as shoppers, we're definitely all shopping around. It's not like we're clicking on one and we're waiting for that response. And if they don't respond, we go to the next one. Most of the time, we're sending inquiries to multiple people.
Right. Right.
Same thing for me when I shop for, you know, my supplies with manufacturers. There's hundreds and hundreds of manufacturers who sell the same product, and I'll send inquiries to a ton of them. And the ones who give the attention and respond back quickly and answer my questions, I more than likely will go to. And sometimes their price is even higher.
Yeah.
Because I know that they're taking the time to respond to me. So,
man, there's so much there. I've got a couple ideas here I want you to kind of talk more about on the words better. When it comes to posting, we're talking specifically about social media, although we could be talking about your website too. That's, you know, website, blogging, but I'm mostly thinking of social media. What's your thought when I say this, better frequency?
I think it's post more often.
Yeah.
Post. We know algorithms. We can't control all that. So you might think you're posting too much.
Yeah.
And I know I've heard this from you many times. You think you're posting too much, but most of the time, all of the time, not everyone is seeing your posts.
Right.
So you might have posted 10 times, but that one person who wants to be your customer is seeing it for the first time.
Right.
So don't be afraid to post, share, you know, give some value too with it, right? It doesn't have to necessarily just be, this is my thing, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it. If it's a short video, a time lapse of the project being made,
yeah,
that sparks interest, giving value, you know, some added things, something different to stand out from everybody else. I think frequency is important.
Well, and let me add this, because I want to say you've taught me, or at least you've drawn my attention to this in particular. Lots of ways to say this, but better focus on them and not you. You know, how does this item, if you're going to sell this item, how does this item help them be better or improve them in some way, right? Talk about that a little bit, kind of your focus of what you're writing about. Because if it's always Will is great, Will is great, Will is great, that does work to some degree.
I like it. I like that. I think we should I think everyone in the who's watching this, just post on your page, on your personal page, even just post Will is great. That's fine. It works.
That's right. Yeah.
And post it frequently. I appreciate it. My headphones are not going to fit anymore. My head's getting kind of big. No, I think one strategy too, and when I think of focus on them, not you, when I approach realtors, because I deal with a lot of realtors for cutting boards, and in any sales, it's really not about selling any of the features. It's what I'm trying to focus on is selling the benefit. Ooh, how does this benefit them?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, this is a beechwood board with your name on it. Okay, great. I can see that. Right. Oh, but you know what? This as a closing gift is personalized. It shows your client that you took time to find something that was unique to them. It saves you time because you don't have to go to the store and put together a basket. It's the same price. We'll streamline the process to make it all faster for you. Then they're like, oh yeah, that does benefit me. I'm more interested versus buy my cutting board.
Yeah.
Because I want your money.
Yep.
Right. Versus this cutting board is going to help you in your business, and this is going to make things easier for you. And time is money, and I'm gonna push on those topics more. So on those, emphasize those more. So
that's really good. That is really good. So that really is focusing more on them and not you. In that case, the benefits, not just the features. That's really great. Also, this one here, you talk about this with a slightly different word. You don't always say interaction. but you talk all the time about the way that you interact with people in your groups and on your page. And talk to me about that a little bit. You know what I'm referring to?
Yeah, like engagement. I think that's
Yeah,
the word I use a
it
lot.
is.
I use engagement more. Interaction engagement is, when we're posting in our groups, or you're posting on your page, or you're posting in your business page, the goal is to get people to interact with it, right? To say they
Yeah,
love it, they want to buy it, it looks beautiful. And if they're taking time out of their day to stop and engage with your post, you should engage with them back.
yeah,
That's definitely a huge thing, right? I see it all the time. People will post, people will like it, or they'll heart it, or they'll comment on it, and there's nothing else. You want to keep up the engagement. You want to ask questions. Hey, I saw you love this. Is it
yeah.
something you might be interested in? Sometimes you have to ask for the sale,
Sure.
right? We don't want to seem salesy, but sometimes they just need a little push. Hey, if I saw that you loved my post, or you made a comment, thank you for taking the time. If there's anything that you're interested in getting, please let me know. I'd love to provide you a wonderful personalized gift.
Yeah,
So it doesn't have to be in your face, but engage. Um, you're going to you'll see that the more you engage, the more relationships you build, the more people are going to want to support you. They're going
yep.
they want to shop with people they trust and that they like. And I mean, on the internet, we're all, for the most part, strangers, right? We've built some great relationships on here, but you can still build meaningful relationships just through the internet. I mean, some of my closest friends I haven't met yet.
Yes, it makes me think of two different things. One is the story I've told before about shopping with friends. I'll tell that one in just a second. But the other one is if you were if you're posting on social media and you post something that doesn't really require much of an answer, you're probably not going to get a lot of feedback. Like if someone says, like I'll pick up something here that I've got in front of me, something I'm working on right now. So if I post a picture of this door and I go, "This is cute, right?" Well, all I'm probably going to get is or a heart. But if I say something like, if I ask a question that gets feedback, like, what does this mean to you, or what does this make you think of when you think of family, or something that just really asks for their feedback more, and not just is my thing cool, but tell me about your family, tell me about what a door might represent in your life, tell me about what the decor that you put on a door means from season to season for you, or something that just gets more of them talking. That's more useful when it comes to interaction, right?
Yep,
You know,
definitely.
I was watching football games this weekend, go blue. And I noticed a lot of the sideline reporters, honestly, they're not very good, in my opinion, because they'll ask questions that there's just a yes or no answer to it. Like, hey, I saw you guys play really good defense in the first half. What do you need to do in the second half to win on the defensive side? Uh, play good defense. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing to say there. So if you want good interaction, you need to ask questions that give them a space to talk and to talk about themselves. What are your thoughts there?
I mean, you pretty much covered it all right there. Is get that, build a conversation, and the more people who comment with it, that helps boost your posts as well.
Yeah.
I was watching this. I was reading about building your social media, and the algorithm,
Yeah.
and they're like, one trick that they do is, they ask a question, and then people will answer, and they'll answer back to them with another question, and it just keeps the conversation going, which then kind of boosts your posts. So if you're looking at, hey, I post all the time and I don't get any engagement, or it gets buried within the feeds because, like you said, you asked,
Yeah.
do you like red? Yes, no, you know.
Right.
Um,
Know where
so
to go with that.
yeah, get creative, have a little fun with it, um, entice them to engage, but then engage back, because
Yeah.
they're taking time out of their day. We're all very busy. So if they're taking time to engage with your post, take time to engage with them.
And on that note, when you engage with somebody, engagement can be a couple different ways. You can engage on your post with them but you can also go and find your customers on social media and cheer them on. Like for you, I've seen you do this a lot. When you see somebody that uses one of your blanks for something, you tell them, man, that is amazing. Proud of you. Good job. Heart, thumbs up. Uh, that's really great. One of my old pastors used to say that we should all be serial likers. Just go around and be known as somebody who just supports everybody. And I think that makes a huge difference. I've told this story a lot, but when I used to work in our local mall here back, I used to sell shoes at J.C. Penney's, and I did that for several years. Not Al Bundy, but at least along that same general line. I did sell women's shoes for several years, so that is uncomfortably close to Al Bundy. Yes. But I'd go down in the food court every day to eat, right? And I would walk by the Chick-fil-A that was there. And there was several, of course, other things in the food court. And my friend Paul, he's my friend now, friend Paul owned the Chick-fil-A there. And he would always yell at me when I come into the food court. He'd go, Mark, where are you going, bro? If I'd walk past Chick-fil-A. And, I wanted to tell him, well, I can't eat Chick-fil-A every day. And he would always go, where? Like I go over toward Taco Bell, and he'd go, why are you going there? They don't even know your name. And I'd be awkwardly standing in front of who I now know is Tim at Taco Bell. But I'd stand in front of Tim, and he'd just look really awkwardly at me. And I'd look back at Paul. And one time I think Tim goes, hey, Mark. Like, yeah, Paul just yelled my name. I mean, that's how that works. But the point he was saying is he said, you eat with friends, man. And he was right. He became a friend, and therefore I ate with him more often, and I enjoyed eating with my friends. And that goes the same for business as well, right? Like people like to do business with people that care about them and know about them. So it's a good investment as a business. It's also good as just a human. To get to go become a cheerleader for other people, for their success, and to know what's going on in their world. And you do that really well. And I don't totally know if you are always aware of why you're good at things. I mean, I think some things you've thought through, but some things are just natural for you. Here's one off the top of my head. I don't know if you'll be prepared for this one or even have an answer for it. Are there any good business practices that you are not naturally good at, that are good, but they just don't come naturally to you?
Paperwork.
Yeah. You got to do it at some point, right? Somebody's got to do it.
Yes. That stuff is all horrible for me. I'm not a fan of any of that stuff. Taxes, paperwork, organization. I've learned to do them, but I passed the buck. I am all about relationships. If I could just be in front of people, talking with people, helping people, chit-chatting with people, whatever it could be, that's what just comes naturally for me. That's the part that I really enjoy, building those relationships with people. And I mean, we have a really good time with that. I've helped, and I've seen people grow, and it's amazing. And this community is great. And I like to share what I've learned. I like to share as much information as possible. And I try to encourage that with other people that I talk to. And they're like, well, I'm new. What do I know? I said, there's always someone newer than you.
Always.
There's always. So,
Yep.
Share the information. You might think it's a simple thing. I could share something. I might share something, copy and paste within the Glowforge interface. And people are like, oh my gosh, I can copy and paste. That's amazing. I've been printing one at a time for the last 6 months.
Yep.
So it's you don't know what people don't know.
Nope.
So share often. Teach people. That's one thing I heard years ago. If you want to reach more people, teach more people.
Yeah.
Right. They're more receptive. They're going to appreciate that. And I think that's part of where my success kind of started with the laser business as well. Is I didn't start out as a blank seller, right? I started out as just someone in the community who was learning with the rest of us, who was making mistakes, burning through materials, asking about settings, all of those things, and then absorbing all that information from the people who have been around for a while, like yourself and others in other groups, and then sharing that information later and building those relationships so that when I did transition into this realm of selling blanks, people knew me, people
Yep.
trusted me, we had relationships. And I mean, I think that's the biggest contributor of where my business is today, is because of all the relationships from the past. And if I thought about that 2 years ago or 3 years ago, it was just, I just wanted to make friends. I wanted to be part of a community. And I didn't think, wow, that will have a huge impact in my business. But now I look back, I'm like, well, it did.
You
It's a
didn't know? Yeah. Right. You and I talk a lot about this, and I want to jump into kind of a little related topic here. And I want to encourage people, if you're watching, if you've got any questions for us on these, please let us know in the chat. We'd love to take those live questions. Um, kind of related to this is the concept of finding your niche or niche, depending on who you are, your area of focus. Let's say that, then at least I'll pronounce it right. And we've talked about several little phrases, and I wanted to kind of talk about this a little bit because this is related to kind of the same idea of patching some of the holes in your bucket. And there's a couple of phrases you and I have both used. We don't want to be an inch deep and a mile wide. Is the jack of all trades, master of none. Sometimes in our industry, when it comes to people with lasers, they tend to want to do everything, and because of that, they don't do anything really well. You know what I mean by that? What are your thoughts on that?
I be known in my way. I'm like, I think it's very, you can be very narrow in what you do and be
Yeah.
very good at that.
Mhm.
Master what you do well. If you look at the most successful ones within the industry or in any industry, or even like yourself, right? You guys are file designers. You guys
Yep.
have a certain style. We know your stuff when we see it, and you've gone deep through that, and people, you've gotten really good at what you do. But with any business, I remember reading, and they're saying, look at someone like Bezos with Amazon.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't 25 different things. He was solely focused on becoming the best at what he was doing. And then that opens up opportunities. But he was focused on that first and became a master at that.
Yeah.
And then the other opportunities come along.
Right.
So we get stretched too thin, and then everything gets 25%. Say part of one of these podcasts I was listening to is, they're like, say you open the dry cleaner and your sole purpose is to provide clean clothes quickly. Every single time you just did it and you focused on that. And then you had a competitor who started the dry cleaning as well. But then they started doing other things here and here, and they lost focus on that. In 5 years' time, who do you think is going to be the best dry cleaner?
Yeah.
The one who focused all his energy on that, or the one who took all of that extra time that he could have devoted to that business to other things?
Yeah.
The odds are it's going to be the one who focused solely on that. I heard someone say, "Well, I'm a roofer, right? I do roofs, but I do this, I do that, I do this." But you look at the biggest roofing companies who make billions and billions of dollars, they do one thing,
Yeah.
and they're great at it. Chick-fil-A is not selling hamburgers.
Nope.
In-N-Out's not selling chicken.
Right.
But what they do really well, and you can build a huge business
Yes.
with, a sole focus versus trying to do too much.
Right. And you can even use those you just use as examples, like Starbucks. They're known primarily for coffee. They've got a couple other things, but I mean, in just a second, what does Starbucks sell? Coffee. I mean, that is the number one, right?
Yeah.
And Chick-fil-A, what do they sell? Chicken. I mean, technically they sell biscuits, they sell salads, but you don't think about that. You think about chicken, right? And over the, what is it? 1946 is when they started, however long ago that was, they've done other things, but then they pulled back and they said, nope, core competency thing we're really good at. Right. And so that's a good example. And again, the In-N-Out, same thing. They maybe have a couple other things on the menu, but they are by far and away hamburgers, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's really important for all of us to kind of focus on. It's okay to do different things, but don't get so broad that you're not good at anything, right?
Yeah. And if you want, like you said, if you want to grow your business, sometimes it's not the new thing to grow your business. It's stepping back and fixing the things that need to be fixed, and that's
Right.
going to make that's probably going to grow your business way faster and bigger than taking on something new.
You said something yesterday. Man, I got to remember exactly how you said it, but it was the idea of, oh, I'm not going to get the right words that you use, but maybe this will spark your memory. Is you could get really good at something, but because of the holes in your bucket, that thing never got the traction it was supposed to get.
Yeah, I think we were talking about finding a niche.
Was that
You
it?
could, yeah, I think you could have something that's going to be a huge hit, right? That people wanted. Maybe it's something new that nobody has seen before. But if you don't have the customer service, you don't have the quick response
Yeah.
times, you don't have your production set up to be able to produce those items, you'll never know if it was going to be a hit. It could have been.
Right.
Um, that same podcast that I was listening to, they were talking about someone who had 9 businesses, right? They had 9 businesses, and they said, if I could take a magic wand and get rid of all of those businesses and let you focus solely on one, how big do you think that can get? And they're like,
Mm.
oh, I can make this huge. But because I'm spread out amongst these others, it's taking away from it. So all of them are kind of just getting 10% of you.
Mm. Here's a good question. We'll both talk about this. Shannon is asking, I'm trying to start a business based on sublimation and laser products. My question is, how many products do you think is reasonable to start with? That's a really great question, Sharon. I don't know that we're going to have a specific number. Will, what's your thought on that? And I'll share mine as well.
It's tough to say, right? Just like even when I started just doing the actual physical products of lasering, I wasn't sure how many products to start with. I tried out a ton of different things, see what I enjoyed making, what made sense financially, what the customers wanted, and then I scaled back. I
Yeah.
scaled back from doing 20 different items to I pretty much do one item.
Mm.
I do cutting boards, and that's it. But there's nothing wrong with trying. And but what you have to do is you can try as many as you want, but you need to understand all of the aspects of what you're doing, right? What your costs are, what your time is, because some you might be making and you're like, I like it, my customers love it,
Yeah.
but you're not making any money on it. And if your goal is to be a business, the goal of the business is to make money.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I'll put this here. This is a thought that I have. How many items can you deliver with excellence every time? And I think that number might vary from person to person. So that's why I don't know that we can give you a number, but I would say, how many can you really deliver? I'll give you, because I worked with Chick-fil-A, I'll give you a couple examples from them. They had several products that they had on their menu for many years, but as they grew, they found certain ones of them they simply couldn't deliver from every restaurant in every corner of the United States with the same excellence every time. And so they ended up dropping them. Like, for example, for decades, they did lemon pie that they made by hand in the restaurants. But as they got bigger and bigger, they found out that for whatever reason, they couldn't get all of the restaurants to make the same quality lemon pie in-house. And the product was kind of amazing in one place and not so amazing in others. And so they temporarily went to, I say temporarily, for several years, they went to a pre-made product that was frozen and shipped. And then eventually they just stopped it completely. But in my opinion, they realized this was just not the excellence that we want. So we stopped it. And they went back to their core competency again. So I think it was Sharon, you asked how many. I would say start with a handful and do them really well. And then you can continue to grow as long as, like what Will said, you can still make money. And as long as you can deliver them with excellence, I wouldn't be too worried about the number, but make sure you grow slow and sustainable. That would be my thought on those.
yeah, when I see that question, it says, was how many items? Every item that you send out to your customer should be excellent.
Yeah.
If you settle for mediocrity and you can't provide an excellent product to that customer, don't sell it.
Right. And let me add to that. That is also going to be what divides you from someone else, right? Because if you're mediocre, there's lots of those.
Yeah. You'll just have a mediocre business.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, you and I talked about, this is something else we've talked about several times, is things that we do that separate us from our competitors. And I'll lead into it this way. In former life, I did a lot of public speaking, and especially in the church world. And as you can imagine, anybody who does public speaking, or actually for that matter, anything that you do, you tend to have people that you really admire that are out ahead of you. And for me, there was several speakers and pastors who just did their thing in a way that I really liked a lot. And I thought, oh my gosh, I really want to be just like those people. And as you can imagine, I tried to emulate them in a lot of ways. And that's not a bad thing. But when I'd get up on stage and I'd start talking, I tried to teach the way these people did. And I found that it was, although I could potentially pull it off, it was a lot of work because it just wasn't
you.
natural. It wasn't me.
Wasn't you.
And I had to learn that I learned one way and I communicated another way. Like I just assumed the people that I learned from should be the people that I also speak like. And I realized that's not necessarily the case. And so my favorite communicators communicate differently than the way I do. And it took me several years to finally just become comfortable with the way that Mark is. And then I started to lean into that and started to become really, hopefully, better at public communication than I used to be, because I started embracing who I am. And then over time, I started having a group of people that would connect with me, and they became my tribe. You know what I mean? My audience.
Yeah.
And I think that's true about our businesses. That's where I'm going with all this is, I'll be honest, I'm never going to be the best designer in the world. But I've also realized that's not my goal. I want to produce great quality things with excellent support. And I want people to know that when they buy from Mark, they're going to get all the support they ever need. They're going to get some videos that walk them through things. They're going to get some PDFs. They're going to get Mark talking on video live and recorded. And he'll also answer questions in messages. They're going to get great support. And that's going to be the thing that's going to set me apart, because and they're going to get things that work every time. And if they don't, if I drop the ball, they know that I'm going to pick it up and fix it. And so those are the things that I'm trying to separate myself with. You are doing a similar thing with your support of your products, right?
Yeah, I think it's all about giving as much as you can to make that experience for the customer easier.
Right.
Right. I mean, I could have easily charged for jigs. They're everywhere, right? But okay, hey, I appreciate the fact that you're supporting my small business. I create a jig, I upload it for them to use to make their business more efficient as well.
Right.
So yeah, all those little things, right? If it's building communication, if it's building relationships, talking them through their businesses. Hey, I bought these blanks and, hey, these didn't sell well at a show. Well, let's take a look at your setup. Let's see the product. Let's see your pictures. All those little things, I think, is what, because there is a lot of competition out there.
There is.
There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people who sell very similar, if not the same things that I do. And if I can add value for my customer, if it doesn't have to be huge, right? It could be little things like these videos, like motivational posts that I post, or answering questions or lives. And also that's just part of who we are. I think that's what separates us as well, because we enjoy this.
Yeah.
Right? It's not for everybody. Customer service has to be for everybody. If you don't have great customer service, you better learn it or get out of business.
Yep. Or you'll get out of business.
Yes. The market will talk to you really quickly.
Yes.
So, but I'm learning as I go, and I'm constantly making myself better. I'm reading, I'm looking at what other companies do and try to emulate it in my own way.
Yeah.
Right. And I try to have some fun with it. I'm serious. I'm a serious business person. I'm competitive. I want to do well. I want to see other people do well, but I have fun while I do it. So it's a good balance.
It is. Well, one of the ways that I know that Will and I really have fun with is getting to spend time with other users. And we've been able to do that over the last several months. We've had a couple different hangouts in Sacramento. I know, Will, how many have you done there? I don't actually know. Have you done 2 or 3?
I've done a couple here
own?
in Sacramento. Then we had the great hangout over there in Tulsa.
Yeah.
Which was a lot of fun.
We did. And so this coming weekend, we actually have what we are now calling workshops, because we're taking all the things that we've learned from the hangouts that we've had, the lives that we've done, and the lives that we've lived. No, that's not what I meant. All the different things that we do. And we also had a great conference back in August in Sacramento. It was fantastic. For all the guys that were there, thank you so much. It was great. And we are taking all that we learned and we're putting them into one-day workshops. And hopefully all of you guys have heard about it. But if you haven't, we'll tell them when's our workshop this weekend, where is it at, and kind of a little bit of a rundown of what we're doing there.
Yeah, so it's here in my warehouse here in Sacramento. And it is on Saturday and Sunday, February 12th and 13th.
Yep.
Yeah, I lose track of days when I don't take
Me
the kids
too,
to school. Right. Saturday right now has sold out, just so you know, but
Yep.
we still have spots available Sunday. It's a full day, right? You'll get to meet other laser owners, meet other people in our space. We're going to have breakfast and lunch. We're going to go over some content. We're going to try to teach you. We're going to touch on marketing. We're going to touch on pricing. We're going to touch on ways that we can grow and make some money in this business. We're going to host a live with the live studio audience both days. We also have Tabitha coming out here, who's going to work with you with some hat presses. So you can kind of see how you can create your own hats, press your hats, look at some of the different presses that are available out there. We also have replica surfaces coming here. We're going to have some setups so you can bring some of your items to take some pictures of. You can see how you can enhance your photography just with a couple tools. Mark uses replica surfaces for his photos. I'm ordering a bunch when the sale comes on here shortly. So that's a great opportunity to bring a project and see how different that could make your photos look, because it's amazing. So we'll have an opportunity to learn a little bit more about photos. You'll have opportunity to connect. I think the biggest thing too is connect with like-minded individuals and see that you're not alone in this journey. Right? We're going to have people who are just learning and growing. You're going to have people who have more experience and you can learn from them. They're going to learn things from you as well. So it's a great opportunity. I think 25 spots each day. So Saturday we're full. Sunday we have a few spots left. So if you're interested, I would definitely sign up now.
Yep.
And
the link is in the chat there. You don't have to try to click on the screen there.
On the screen, yeah, it's in the chat.
Yep. So that's going to be great. So if you want to come join us in Sacramento, it's going to be awesome. I am super excited about that. We also have something else that we can. Yeah. And Tabitha said, meet other laser nerds. Yes, absolutely. We also, for those of you guys who went to our last conference in August, or if you missed it, we've got another big announcement that this is our official announcement, right?
And you get to talk about this one. So it's like I talked about it last time. So.
Yep. So we have our next big conference coming up in Dallas, Texas, in February 2023. And now help me. The dates are the
24th through the 26th. I wrote
24th to the 26th
on my notes.
Nice. 24th to the 26th of February. And that's a Friday through a Sunday. And it's going to be in Dallas. We are not officially announcing it, but we will be very, very soon, before the end of November. And we'll have tickets available. But we would love to have you guys come to that. It's going to be every bit as big and better than the last one. We're going to have a lot of the same teachers and a couple new ones, hopefully. It's going to be fantastic. So you guys are going to absolutely love it. It's going to be a game changer for you and help you really go to the next level in your laser journey for sure. So just watch for those. I see a bunch of people saying they'll be able to come. So that's really cool.
Yeah. We looked at different places, right? We looked at some different locations and Dallas just made sense. It's centrally located. It's very accessible from, all the locations. The flights into Dallas, there's a lot, because it's such a big airport as well. They get a lot of direct flights. So you're not transferring a bunch of planes. I had a great time in Dallas there a couple weekends ago with my daughter for a football game. Toured some hotels for the conference, met with different planners, and the spot that we have is amazing, very convenient, close to the airport. They're going to shuttle people. We're not going to even have to worry about rental cars if need be. Nope. All the restaurants are within walking distance. We'll announce once we get everything set for. We will announce that. So definitely take a look at that. We're excited about it. And I just wanted to say, we picked that spot because you guys know my humor. I just wanted to go to the Big D. I just thought that's right up my alley. So
And
All
okay.
right, there you go. Muted again. Debbie
Facebook jail.
when will the live take place? So we are doing the lives Saturday and Sunday, both days at
Yep.
9 a.m.
9
Pacific
a.m.
Standard Time. From
Yep.
9 to 10, we'll be taking questions from you online, and we'll also be taking questions from the live studio audience. Then we don't need to have the laugh track anymore. We can actually have people laugh or boo or throw tomatoes either
Right.
way.
Yeah, we're going to have a shield between us. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kathy asked, what was the name of the photo program? So it's not a program, it's replica surfaces. It
Right.
is actually staging for your photos,
Yeah.
where it's like panels to have different backdrops. So you could have like Mark, I know your Christmas village, you use the one with the window, right? Like the frosted windows.
Yep. Why don't you go ahead and take? I think you got a guy you need to take care of. I can probably pilot the plane here for a minute.
Oh, I got it. They just came and picked up a
Okay.
local pickup order.
Oh, okay. Great. Yeah. So I definitely use replica surfaces as well. I should have had a photo here. Let me see if I can pull one up. But in fact, yeah, let me just find one real quick, and I will show you. But they are wonderful printed backgrounds that will just take your stuff to the next level. And I'll be honest, I'm not even great at it yet. I'm getting better, and it really, really adds so much to your products. Let me show you a couple of photos here that I've done. Somebody play some music in the background for me. Let's go to maybe Christmas Village stuff.
It's always fast to pull it up when you're not under the pressure of being
Oh yeah,
live.
it's fantastic. No struggle here at all. Yeah, this I don't know if I'm going to pull something up fast enough, because I've also got to figure out the technology of getting it on the screen here, which is the other thing. But we will definitely show you that, and I'll share some in the different groups here. You're really going to love them. I was initially hesitant at the pricing of them, but then when I got my first photo with no editing at all, I was like, holy crap, this is really a game changer. This is fantastic. So I really think you guys are going to love them, but we're going to have about 30 of them that you can look at. And what we're going to want you to do is be able to pull out your phone, and you're going to be able to put an item there and take a photo of it and see just how it works. I think you're really going to love that. So that's going to be cool. Very cool. Anything else before we get out of here, man? Anything else we want to cover? You guys got any other questions for us?
Yeah, ask some questions. We'll take a couple questions from you. If we get back to the comments, we can circle back to them if we get to them later, because I know people ask questions as they join the live because time zones suck.
Right.
And nobody knows, and daylight savings and daylight, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Do we have any questions? I'm rolling my way up.
Here, I'll put one on the screen here that I found. Just a moment.
Someone asked about the Gowecki. I did see that.
So here's let's see if it actually loads here. Just a minute. There you go. So here's one that there is nothing in this photo except a printed photo in the background and a printed one that's sitting on. See if I can make this even a little bigger here. But there's a snowy background with some windows, and none of that's really there. That's just printed backgrounds. But all of a sudden, it makes something look so much better. So that's one example. Let me find a couple more. About the Gowecki cloud, do you know anything about that? I know a little bit about what Kathy and some other people have said. Do you know much about that?
No, and they're relatively new. So if you're debating between the two, I personally would probably wait a little bit and see as you get some, real world feedback from people. I don't know if they have a Facebook group, but maybe jump into there and see kind of the feedback from people who've had it. Because I think this maybe only 3 or 4 months that I've seen people get them. So it's hard to say all the experiences with it. I haven't used one yet. I thought about getting one, but if you look at my laser room, I don't have any space for any more lasers, and I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to be good.
Well, I know that what a couple of people have said is that it's a really cool idea that is not quite ready for prime time, is what I've heard. So let me see if I can put this one other picture here. Nope, I can't. I thought I could. My bad. Super professional live
Yeah.
up here.
Let's just all sit here and stare at Mark until.
Yeah, not at all uncomfortable.
We had someone here, Carolyn, ask, I have searched for local laser friends. I cannot find anyone in Delaware. I search in my laser groups and search Delaware. It's so small, I feel people who are in Delaware don't want to share info. I have asked, and it's only like 3 people. How do I approach through Facebook without having them thinking I'm stepping on toes? I just would like to learn while watching in person. It's tough, especially when you're like you said, in a smaller community who might not have a ton of people. But I mean, you have the internet, right? You're here on this live.
Yeah.
Utilize the people who are in these groups who share videos. Mark has a ton of videos on his YouTube. There's a couple other great laser content creators who have videos on YouTube, and you can, watch those. You can always reach out to Mark and ask questions.
Absolutely.
You don't have to limit yourself to Delaware. I mean, it's nice to have local people. I enjoy having local people here that I can bounce questions off of and get advice from. But I mean, I can reach out to anyone in the country now. So,
right.
And a FaceTime is just as fast as driving to someone's house, if not faster.
Right. Let me share this real quick. So here's a couple of photos I did of our Christmas village with that background, with one of the backgrounds from Replica Surfaces. And so I just love it because this is sitting in my office, not in front of a window. Well, there actually is a window to the right that's letting all that light in, but that window's not really there. This is all just a printed background, which makes it just feel so different. Oh, Will, I got to find that picture I sent you of, when I backed out to show where this is actually sitting.
Yes, I think with you in the corner.
Yeah. But this is just what you can pull off with just, in this case, a little bag of about $7.99 fake snow. Just what all these can look like.
Yeah, and they have, like you said, a huge selection of backdrops / floor pieces. If you wanted that shiplap look, you wanted that vintage look, you wanted, a marble type look, there's so many different variations where you can, really take your photo taking to the next level.
Exactly. Yeah. So I really recommend you guys at least look at it. I think it's a good fit for a lot of people. It may not be for everybody, but for those of you who it is, I think you're really going to dig it a lot. All right, guys. Well, we will let you guys get back to your day. Will, do you have to unload some boxes, or are those all?
Oh, that's always. Well, more so loading boxes to get out to everybody. So
yeah,
quite a few every day.
Yep.
Which is a good thing. What's a good thing? Keep shopping. Don't worry if I'm busy, okay? It's all right. I appreciate the busy. My kids don't stop eating.
No, they don't. Well, guys, thank you so much for spending time with us today. Again, if you didn't know Will before, you do now. Go shop with him at crazylaserdad.com. And of course, for me, if you have any files or designs that you want to check out, it's at bigbluelaserdesigns.com. I'd love to help you out there. But you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. Will's going to box some stuff up. I'm going to go finish up some, this is what I just finished today or yesterday. Little
the nativity.
Nativity here. And then today I'm going to be finishing up this one right here. Oh, where's the camera?
A little higher. There you go.
Yep. Well, Merry Christmas there and a nativity there. So I got a lot going on. So you guys do your thing. Let us know how Will and I can help you. Let us know in our groups. We'd be happy to take care of you. But until then, as always, we will see you in the groups. Have a great Tuesday.
Have a good one, guys. Friend. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys this weekend. Can't wait.
Yep. And sign up if you want to come on Sunday. We got some spaces left.
Yep. All right, it's going to be a blast. And then we will start sending out announcements here shortly about Dallas.
Absolutely. Have a great Tuesday. We'll see you soon. Bye.
All right. Bye.